Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. For today's video, we are doing the page setup for my Red Cup Love page. Every year I include the Starbucks cups in some form or fashion into my album, and this year is no different. I absolutely love the pink, the red, and the green. I think it goes well with so many scrapbooking collections as well. And I want to use this gorgeous Red Cup Love acrylic piece from Color Cast Designs as well. So if you are on Instagram, I find always tons of inspiration there, but there has been from the product play class a really cute, and I've actually done the technique before in other 12 by 12 layers where it's just strips of paper, right, that we adhere to make it a sunburst or a circle in essence. And someone had already cut up the Starbucks cups into those paper strips, and I thought that was just like perfect because I've already done one where I make them into like Project Life cards 3x4. I've done it where I've punched holes and made like a reef one time, and then I punched holes and then made it into a tree, was one year too. I have also done it where I followed the product play class maybe 2 years ago where it was that quilted heart that Allie Edwards showed with cut paper from the collection. For that project, I used my Starbucks cups and I made that quilted heart. That one was probably really cute too. So once again, just following a product play inspiration in which they cut paper from the kit and made it into that circle burst. And in essence, let me see if I can find it real quick so I can show you. So in essence, we are creating kind of this. So I've cut paper. This was a layout I did back in May. I didn't attach any of those ends and stuff. So in essence, we're doing this, but for a 6x8 size. So the strips need to be a lot smaller. So in essence, we're recreating this one in case you haven't seen it around. I'm just fixing a pom-pom. So let's get cutting up these Starbucks squares, and I circled Starbucks cups. I will keep one of these intact because I'm deciding if I just want this in the center of the burst, or still have this because obviously that's iconic, and then just have it kind of off on the side from the burst of cups. So we'll see how it goes. So first we're just going to be cutting these up into strips. So let's be honest, I'm probably going to need my paper trimmer because this is some heavy duty cardstock, and keeping, well, they're all the same size. I know this, so I will cut it out from one of the grande size cups because this tall one is a little bit smaller. And let's start constructing it. I haven't decided though if I'm going to put it just on cardstock or maybe vellum or acetate. I'll probably just put it on card. Well, no, because acetate, at least it'll show through, because I haven't chosen the photo that will go along with it yet. So I was just all about making the big bursts so far. So let's get started. Okay, so if you are going to try to do this project, also keep in mind that this is, they are thick cardstock. They are thick cardstock, and it takes some like muscle to cut them down. Even with my rotary trimmer, you see me like going back and forth a couple times because it really did not do it in 1 or 2 swipes. So don't think it's you, it's just the good quality cup that they are. So I went ahead and just varied the strip size, just whatever I wanted. I don't think I ever went more than maybe a 1/2 inch. And I went through about 2 or 3 different pattern cups. Now initially too, I thought I was going to do it on one of these transparencies, but you'll see me change my mind quite soon just to white cardstock, because I knew that the adhesive part would be a problem, meaning that if I wanted to use like liquid glue or double-sided glue, it would all show from the back. And if I wanted to use tiny attacher, that too would kind of start poking a lot of holes in there, and I knew that my tiny attacher would only go so far into the page because of that limit. So I do change it to white cardstock. And then, don't get me wrong too, a way to keep it so that it turns into a uniform circle is also to have these strips be the same length. So you're probably going to look at maybe about 3 inches a piece. That way it would be 3 inches all the way around, and it would create a perfect circle. For me, I wasn't really too concerned about that part, because I didn't mind if some of the bursts of the star, burst, went, into the corners of each of them, which made them be a little bit longer in length. For me, I like the variation, but that's just me. So just know that if you want it to look like a circle, perfect circle, like from the class project I was referring to by Allie Edwards, just make sure all of them are the same length, which is probably be around 3 inches. I'm thinking 3 and 3, that's 6. Yeah, maybe a little less than 3 would get you a good circle burst on your page. And so don't get me wrong, like right there with that looking, I love it on that transparency. But like I said, soon enough, I'm like here twiddling my thumbs, and I'm like, I don't know, let me get white cardstock. So that's what I end up doing, and it's a better choice for it too, because at least that way, whatever comes after it has a nice blank white slate, so I can either use the cardstock it is, or adhere photo to the back, or something of that nature. So it worked out fine. And right now you see me also consider just using the Starbucks circle for the center. That does get changed toward the end, you'll see me, because that red cup love, that truly the piece that obviously this project is centered around, because this is a project for my collar cast design, I wanted it to really showcase. So I will replace that Starbucks cup logo in the center with just white, and that way that red cup love acrylic piece will shine bright. And so here I am, just transferring over all of my little bits and pieces over to this page. And don't get me wrong, it looked great on the transparency, but this really pops here too, because you definitely see all those rich, like hunter green, the pink, and the red. Those are the colors, and they show stop. And I love too that some of the pieces, you can see some of the little ornament shapes, you can see some of the waves, you can see some of the stripes, and you definitely see the logo up in that right corner too. Here for me too, I started doing liquid glue, but I realized, because remember the inside of a cup, it's kind of has a layer of something in order to make it obviously not soak into the paper cup so quickly. So that repels liquid glue. So that's why I started getting out my stapler to adhere it. And even, I don't think I even tried double-sided tape. I really just went around with the staple to make sure that all of it just stays good. I even like that strip I just did. It was the piece that says, like milk, espresso, the shots, numbers, and any kind of syrup and sugar count. That stayed there too, so that's pretty cool. And so this, this part takes a little bit of time, so be a little bit patient. In the past, I definitely should always share all of my other Starbucks cups. I've made them into Project Life cards last year. I think I cut them all into stars to match the acetate pieces, and made like a circle page with it. And that actually could have been a good idea too, if you had the cups, maybe to include them as little tags that match the tag shape this year too. That could be a good use of the cups as well. Okay, so I have finished the star, and I took off the Starbucks because I'm feeling like this needs to be the home for that, because otherwise it kind of gets lost on the page, and I really wanted this to be on there. Second thing is that I printed my photo, and it printed it too small by accident, so I was like, all right, let's do it as a test paper. And I tried to do the poinsettias that were from the Altenew stamp set that I got, and I gold heat embossed it. Now it did work, as you can see, but because of that heat gun, I don't know if you're able to tell, but it did kind of, you see right here, like bubble up the photo, and it has kind of like these cracked lines. You see that through it? Like once it got heated, the almost like the film that's the color on top bubbled and heated up. Now it's a look, don't get me wrong, this like cracked, you can see, I don't know if you can, it's picking up, see that little hairline in there and there. So it's doable to heat emboss your photos, but I'm just wondering if I want to do that, because I don't know how this photo will look a couple years from now with the heat emboss, and where it crack, it might peel there, I don't know. So don't get me wrong, could I do it and just kind of see and hope for the best for this photo for the year? Absolutely, because I did print it again already. But I'm just wondering. So my second wonder is that I also have this cute stencil with the stars. So I'm just wondering if I take the star stencil and then around the edges either swipe through just like gold stencil butter, if that'll hold up on the paper, or even the grit paste, the snowfall that I hauled from Cherry on Top, that has just like a textured white sandy look to it could make it look cute too. So I'm wondering if I swipe it through and experiment on this one. I'll have to let it dry and then come back to it. But yeah, I'll do that. So we'll swipe it. I'll swipe it, but let's cut this down. And because also what I want to make with you is, so I printed it twice. This one is the actual size outside the page protector. I have to trim a little bit, right? And then I printed it again, but I trimmed off some of that extra ink so I didn't have to do it, because we're going to cut out the cup in my hand and have it be a flip up where my journaling will be. Because I think that'll be the best place to have said journaling. And then this will be the other side, you know? Because I also thought, like, you know, that could be here. And it could. Totally could. If you wanted to keep your project to a one page and then have a slice and then put a tag in or something. But I thought it would be cute to, A, have this. I always want to use the cups in some way. And then make that. I made a picture so that I can, like, have that be a flap. So let's make that first, and then we'll see how the stencil and the butter paste go. Okay, so this is a good like trick to do. So if you ever want to create like a flip up of the same image to hide your journaling, I will say that I didn't make it a flip up. I did just put it on a star brad, and I had it swivel so that it opens underneath will be the journaling. And it's a good way to hide journaling on a photo. I think sometimes with my December daily, I always have to, at least for me, I keep down the bulk of it so that it always fits in one album. And this is one of those moments. So I definitely want to keep this trick in mind in the future, because it came out really cool. Now, initially you see that I cut out my hand with it as well, and I thought I was going to use it as a flap, but once I made it, I was kind of like, no, having the hand move too looks a little weird, so I just cut out the cup part. But you have to print your photo twice. See, there I was already kind of doing it as a swirl with the brad, and that worked out better. So then all I did from this point was then just get tracing paper, hopefully I show it, to kind of like marcate where the journaling could be, and I just used copy paper to keep it, you know, thin, and I hand wrote it out because it was going to be a tapered shape and not just a good square or rectangle to work with. So my journaling is going to be underneath there with just the help of tracing paper and copy paper, and then it's on a star brad. The star brads I have the set from, we always pick it up from, I think they're from Michael's. It's always a set, and they're gold. I don't know if they come in silver, but I always just buy a pack because inevitably I end up using a lot of these during December daily. But this is my first for this book, even though you'll notice that there is no number delineation for this because I'm doing this project ahead of time, but it is a story that's always included, so it will be included. It may be, you know, story 11, or it might be 20, but you will see it in my album soon enough. Okay, so I did swipe the Snowfall and then the paste, the gold champagne paste, and they're dry and they work better. So I say if you ever want to do anything as far as decorating your actual photo paper, stay away from heat embossing, but paste will work. I will also say, a learning curve, that the Snowfall dries clear and just has kind of like white sand in it is how to describe it, because you see how you really can't see it, but when you come close, it just adds that texture there. So this dries clear with white, but then the gold definitely looks good. It doesn't look like it's going to peel up, because I was worried about that if it was going to like crack off of it. But, you know, I've been bending it and it's looking pretty good. So with here, I have already added, you saw me add the brad. I did my journaling, but I handwritten it. So I used tracing paper or vellum to kind of trace the shape of it, and then I just kind of took copy paper and wrote it, because I knew that this shape, because I can only do rectangles, I don't know how to use Photoshop to like taper your images, and so I just did it with my own handwriting with a very thin, like a 0.5 Pilot G2 pen is what I used. And so then the holes are going to go on this side, right? I think I'm going to use the star for the tab, and then I just pulled out all the stars that were in the ephemera pack as well, and it does look cute with that too, but some of them get lost because of the craft and the background. So that's why I still think I'm going to use the gold paste through it, so that we add a little bit of texture and shine, and then wrap this up. And I won't be adding a number yet because I don't know where this is going to go in my album, but I knew it was a story I was going to tell, so it's going to be like a filler story. But I knew that even if I had a big number, I can add it, you know, anywhere here and it could work, you know. So we're not adding a number yet. I was just doing a process video to show that this was definitely a story I wanted to tell. And for me, I think I definitely lean towards the approach to the project as, you know, 25 stories, not necessarily things that happen on, you know, said particular day. Okay, so I will use my stencil and my little scraper to add the gold paste through it, and that will finish this layout out. So I will show you pictures with some music, and thank you so much for joining me. Please subscribe if you haven't done so. Give this video a thumbs up, and until next video, bye everyone.